If we all knew 6 years ago what we know today about the way these global situations unfold, I'm sure many of us would have said we would have done something sooner. A couple of weeks ago, we made a video telling you it was time to plan. Now we're telling you it's time to act.
So we really deliberated about making this video because over the past couple of weeks we have been accused of being doomsayers and sensationalists and fearmongers, and really what we're communicating is just what we see and what we are doing and how we are preparing for potential disruptions to the way our normal lives exist.
So to be completely honest with you, we almost didn't make a video this weekend because really the way we're feeling about what's going on is we just want to get into our gardens. We want to expand. We want to kind of take back more control over our food and food security. If you want to know what we think about the fuel situation, the war situation, we did a deep dive on our podcast yesterday, so you'll find a link down below for that. You can go there and find out what we've been researching and why we think that the messaging you're getting is not the whole picture. But that's not really what we want to focus on this video. No. There is a scenario. It feels very much like how it felt 6 years ago. They're starting to use words like emergency powers and activating certain acts and laws and appointing special people to manage crises. That's all starting to happen. This video is a response to that about what you can do.
What we see is there's a window of opportunity that is short, that the trucks are still running and the fuel is still here, and we have a little bit of time to be able to kind of like act in order to prepare better and quicker for the possibility that we will be on fuel rations and that the stores will be cut off from having regular supplies of food, and not even in the short term, but in the long term, that farmers are having to make decisions about what food they grow. So we're looking even further in the future to potential food shortages as well. So what we see is that there's this window of opportunity while we've still all got fuel in our cars and there's still plenty of stock in the shops to make some decisions about what's going to set you up for more resilience in the short and longer term.
Yeah, so the way we're going to break down this video is we want to be really practical and we want it to be really valuable. So I hope that's what you get out of this. I hope you don't see it as us kind of being all doom and gloom. We're going to talk about food because obviously that's central to us as homesteaders. We're also going to talk about what you do with your time, your money, your resources now that you will have wished you had done 6 months from now if things do get worse. And of course, because it's us, we're going to talk about how you can activate that next level of community. But we're going to be doing that at the same time as we're going to be making some soil blocks, because that is how we start gardens around here. One of the stats we quoted on yesterday's podcast was not just how much oil we depend on out of the Middle East and through the Strait of Hormuz, which is actually more than what they're quoting, but also just how much fertiliser. Almost 70% of Australia's fertiliser comes from the Middle East. And if that whole system gets disrupted, well, we already know that farmers are thinking this way. They are already reporting and reporting in the news about how they're making decisions now about what crops they're going to plant and when. They're looking at autumn right now, at winter soon, and then even ahead to the summer, because that's what farmers do. And so if farmers are saying right now they feel like there's a decision point coming about what or how much food they can put in the ground depending on how much fertiliser is inbound, that means food shortages one way or another. Could that get resolved by then? Maybe, but the window is narrowing, and I guess that's what we always want to bring this video back to, is that the window of opportunity to act is right now. And so it's old school advice, but start a garden. If you don't have a garden, start one. And we've got tons of resources, some we'll link to down below, some we'll mention at the end of this video about how you can do that. But the point is, 2 weeks ago was the time to plant a garden. Now is the time to start. So where should people start?
Well, you need to, the window is, and we saw this last time. You say last time because like it really does feel like this is all happening again.
Well, it's not theoretical anymore.
No, and we understand what happened. We didn't have any frame of reference last time, but we do now. And seeds were sold out. Some of the heirloom varieties were like sold out for over a year.
Yeah.
So get your seeds, get your seedlings, get your garden supplies, have a look at what you're going to need to be able to plant a garden, and stock up on that now. This weekend, off to Bunnings, not the jerry cans, but your seeds, your garden supplies, put your online orders on.
Yeah.
We'll have a link down in the description of the seed suppliers that we prefer.
Yep.
But yeah, your seeds and your garden supplies, your plants. Honestly, now's the time to not plant fruit trees.
Yeah.
They're going to take so long.
Yep.
I wouldn't waste your money on that. I would be on your faster growing things, the things that are going to last you for a lot longer. Go and check out Self-Sufficient Me for some really good ideas of what you can do in different kinds of spaces.
You might be saying, why are they talking about gardening? Isn't the whole crisis around fuel? And if you want to know the kind of the facts and the stats and why, it's not just that we believe, but we know for absolute certain sure that what you're being told is not the full story, and the crisis that's coming is more than what they're letting on. I mean, just look at the fact that they appointed a fuel crisis manager to the government yesterday. That should tell you all that you need to know. That crisis is underway right now. The full effects of it are going to be felt soon. You're not going to be able to avoid it. There will be things you have to do around fuel. We're not going to give you any kind of solutions because we're all going to feel that pinch. Like, we're all going to run out. We're all going to be on rations. That is how that will go. We want to talk to you about the things that you can do right now, and a garden is one of those things that you can do right now. The time for planting a garden was 2 weeks ago. The time to build one is right now, and that will look different depending on your context. If you've got a backyard, honestly, tear it up. You don't need a lawn, but 6 months from now, when the shelves in Woolies and Coles start getting patchy, you'll be glad that you're pulling spinach and lettuce and tomatoes. Well, we're heading into winter, beans, pumpkins, whatever it might be, out of your own backyard, even if it's just a way to supplement your grocery bill that you're not feeling. You're going to feel pressure. That's what these situations do, but you won't feel as much pressure as somebody who doesn't start right now. What that looks like to you is going to depend on your context and what you've got access to. If you don't have a big backyard, start talking to your friends and neighbours about what a garden could look like if you kind of went and did something together. But we'll talk community at the end of this video.
The other thing I say is not just start a garden, but build your buffer in your pantry, and we've been banging on about this for weeks now. Go and check out last week's video because we've got some ideas for bulk buying and stockpiling in that video. But the other thing I would say to do now in this window of time, if you can, is get backyard chickens. I think that they are brilliant in terms of fertiliser for your garden, because that's another thing that's about to get severely impacted with this fuel crisis, and like a source of protein that kind of like keeps on giving. Like, there's no downsides of having backyard chickens, and we saw that the price of them and the availability of them ran out in 2020 through to 2022. So the window is closing, and now's the time.
Well, the price of backyard chickens went up, and it really hasn't gone back down since, so if that's telling you anything. And the other thing that happened too was things like white goods. If you start a garden, there's a fairly good chance that you're going to end up growing more than what you can eat, and you don't want it going to waste. Sure, you could feed some of it to those backyard chickens you're about to get, but grab a chest freezer now. Like, do what you can within your means, within your budget to get one now. We wanted to get a chest freezer back in 2021.
We couldn't do it.
And we couldn't get access to one. We're so glad we've got one now. If you've already got one, start filling it up. Buy a little bit extra each shop. Do what you can to fill it up. So the other thing we wanted to talk about was basically your resources, your time, your money, basically what you are doing with what you've got right now that you will wish 6 months from now you had done today. In other words, how is international shipping in particular going to impact what you're going to be able to do 6 months from now, what you really depend on? And in the video from a couple of weeks ago where we talked about planning, we introduced the idea of an input audit. And so just to really quickly summarize that, although I'd recommend go back and watch it, that was an exercise where you go around your home, your house, your property, and write down absolutely every input that your lifestyle and home requires, from groceries down to oil for your car, absolutely everything that you buy, the frequency that you buy it, and where it comes from. Now is the time to act on that input audit. So if you haven't done that yet, I'd encourage you.
Really good idea.
Do that exercise. It's going to show you where your vulnerabilities are.
And then that'll allow you to prioritize the things that you know that maybe aren't as important because you've already got some, or have a think about the things that come from further away that you're not going to be able to get if the shipping stops or slows. So for me, I've just put in my order of mylar bags and oxygen absorbers so that the food that I grow, that I can dehydrate, I can store for the longer term. That's something that I wouldn't be able to get otherwise.
Yeah, like for us, there's a lot of really specific things because we're homesteaders and we're on a property. We made a decision just this week to buy a backup pump because water management is something that we have to do. That might not apply to you, but the thinking still applies. Yeah. If something broke down, if something you couldn't get access to, you know, how would it affect you? What would you wish you had done? So you can be thinking ahead to things like that. And that might come down to simple things like the projects that you know that you're going to work on that are going to make you even less resilient, even more resilient, less reliant on the systems. Yeah. For us, one of those projects is we're working on our whole chicken operation and we need to build some chicken enclosures, chicken tractors. That's going to reduce our feed bill because chicken tractors means we can move them around the pasture. But we have a design for those that's built on a kit greenhouse that comes from overseas. So Kirsty's just ordered those. Even though it wasn't kind of our priority to do those right now, we've shuffled our budget, shuffled our priorities to focus on that.
And I guess that's where, like, think about your medications, think about your supplements and your vitamins as well. Like, if you rely heavily on those things, now's the time to buy them and get more of them if you can.
Yeah, hear us. We're not talking about the zombie apocalypse here, but you remember what it was like 5-6 years ago. Things got tough and, like, I mean, people ended up fighting over toilet paper in the aisles. If you don't want to be those people, and please don't be those people regardless.
Please don't be those people.
If you can act now on some things, even if it just puts the pinch on you right now in terms of your time, your effort, your budget, it's worth doing it now so that you're not wishing you had 6 months from now.
Yeah.
So in our last video, we talked about community. In fact, in all our videos, we talk about community. It's central to who we are as Rust Experience Homestead. But I hope that that's coming across in our videos, that it's actually, it's not just important because it gives you encouragement and inspiration. If that was the time to figure out who your community is, now is the time to act with your community. Yeah. Now's the time to actually make a plan together. We've done this. Our little community on our property here, we got together and we talked about enacting the plan, like what we're actually going to be doing as a community.
So then we divided and conquered, really. It's not like especially if you're in the city, like you're not going to be able to do everything, but if you get together with your friends and family or your family or your street as neighbours, whatever your context looks like, have a barbecue this weekend and go, okay, what's our plan? Then you can go, all right, old mate over here is going to do chickens. You over here, you've already got a veggie garden. We can keep that going. Who's going to do what? And you can actually start to share the load, work together, and you'll not just build like a buffer in your community, but you can't do everything, but when you work together, everything can get done. And that's just going to build such resilient systems in your location that doesn't rely on being able to move around, so that all of your needs are met. And that's really where the vulnerable in your communities come in as well. Yeah,
who's thinking about Jim that lives down the street, who's the old guy that you never see anybody go to visit him? Yep. Now's the time definitely to connect with him, but also as a community to make a plan. Who's checking in on him? Has he got food? Like, has he got his needs taken care of?
Yeah, how can we loop him in? He might not be able to do everything, but there are things that he is going to be able to do. Now is the time. Like, this is the most Australian thing that we can do.
Yeah.
Everywhere on the media at the moment, you're being gaslit and you're being shamed for looking out for your own family, for buying fuel because you'll need it.
Yep.
They're blaming it on the Australian people and too much demand, rather than taking responsibility for their failures as the leaders of our country. So the most Australian thing that we can do is band together and take care of business ourselves. Yeah. Look after each other, make a plan together. None of this division, none of this fighting. We're not fighting over toilet paper in the aisles. We're just not doing it.
In fact, this is actually going back historically, one of the most Australian things you can do.
Yeah.
Look up, Google right now, Victory Gardens. So there was a campaign initiated during World War II. In fact, it was a worldwide campaign. And in Australia, I think it was the Prime Minister that initiated it. It was called Dig for Victory.
Yeah.
Now, backyard and front yard gardening has always been a part of Australian culture, but the idea there was to do it as a community. So back to our first idea of doing a garden and making it community minded. If you don't have the space, or, you know, if you do have the space, actually start to think like they did during those war times. It's one of the most Australian things you can do. So I really hope that this video has just laid out kind of the next steps for you. Just 3 really practical things that you can do. You can even do them this weekend. Start your garden. That means go and buy your supplies.
Go do it. Stock up.
Reprioritise your resources.
Yeah.
What are you spending now versus what are you going to wish you'd spent money and time and effort on? And then activate your community. And it doesn't have to be like a fully documented emergency management plan. If you work in any kind of business, you know what one of those is. But it does need to be something, because when the SHTF is not the time to be writing the plan. So I hope that's given you some action points to act on.
And while we're not all in close proximity to each other, we do have our Patreon community, and there is a chat in there that is free for anybody to join, all about preparedness, and that chat has been going off all week. So if you are stuck, you have no idea where to start, come and join in on the conversation and ask that brain's trust of people. There are people sharing ideas everywhere, and there's people who are figuring out who's in their local region as well. We're here to help. Homesteaders, we love to help. We love to share knowledge. We love to share anything that we can.
That we create,
Yeah. So that's another option for you guys as well. If you kind of have no idea what you're doing or no idea where to start, come and ask our questions, and us and our Brains Trust are there to help.
Yeah, link for our Patreon will be down in the description. And if you want to know what to watch next, then this video here is the one we did last week, where we went even deeper into how you can be more food secure in your own home, on your own property. And if you haven't seen that video where we talked about planning right now, then you definitely need to go back and watch that one, because it's kind of chapter 1 of this video. So go back and watch that one. And until next time, see you later.